The panoramic view of Swansea Bay, which looks so inviting, can also be a very treacherous piece of water and has, over the years, taken the lives of many an unsuspecting mariner. That's why the presence of the lifeboat station here is so vitally important. There's been a lifeboat station at Mumbles since 1835, and the lifeboat has, over the years, saved thousands of lives. But this modern facility run by the RNLi at the end of the pier is something else. It's almost space age in its design and houses the most technically advanced equipment available, and a boat which simply takes your breath away. We've been invited by the crew to come along and join them on a training exercise so we can see for ourselves what it's like. First though, we have to get kitted out, and I'm putting my high-tech self-inflating life jacket on. There's only one thing going through my head at the moment, and that's that big boat in there going down that slipway, which is beginning to fill me with dread.
Hazards and risks of the craft. Yeah. Alright, because it's coming up from the water. Manual handling, slip, strips and falls, and wide docks. Alright. And the ILB will be a boat as well. Okay. Our mission is to have a good, safe and enjoyable exercise, help maintain skills and competencies using the ALV systems and its equipment.
This is the moment I've been dreading. It's finally arrived. There's no going back now, Hoyles. Take it like a man. I kept pinching myself that this was really happening and that it wasn't me that would be needing to be rescued by the boat as we headed out across the, now thankfully, tranquil waters of Swansea Bay. The amount of different tasks the crew undertake is truly staggering. In the control area, I was given the chance to see exactly how the boat's vital signs are monitored, and what makes this so special.
So here at the moment, this gives the current details. So our position, which way we're going, our speed. So we've got 14 metres of water underneath.
So this goes max speed up to about 25 knots, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe a little bit faster with the frequency. So you're on the chart now. If you wanted to go on the helm, you can see it's on autopilot, what heading we're on, what the engines are doing. So Tony's back there in the mechanic seat, so he'll be monitoring all the engine.
My friend and colleague at the Wave for many years, Badger, has also been a crew member of the RNLi at Mumbles and plays a key role in their day-to-day operations. So some people have a second job. Badger's second job is very cool, has to be said.
It's slightly cool, yeah. Get to drive a £2.7 million lifeboat every now and again.
It's not bad at all. And we've just come out, we've resting at the moment, but even though we're not doing a lot, the guys at the front are doing quite a bit at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, we're just doing a man overboard exercise. We've got an item that we call a dead Fred, which is a realistic weight of a human body. We put it over the side of the water and then just give them a little bit of a practice run at recovering it back onto the deck of the boat.
We have got a perfect day for this. Yes. It's lovely, it's sunny, the sea is calm. It's not always the case, I'm guessing.
No, it's rarely the case that we're out when it's like this, so I've got to be honest. Most of the time it is pretty rough. It's not often you get to see the Gower looking so absolutely stunning and beautiful this evening. But, you know, that said, it's when the sea is flat and the sun is out that it's probably the busiest time for the RNLi, and that doesn't mean that it's any less safe. It just means that a lot of people see the sun out and get out on the water and don't really perhaps think about the consequences of not preparing for that properly.
This is a new boat, this as well, isn't it?
The Mumbles lifeboat is a new boat. It's well, by RNLi standards, it's just coming up to 3 years old. So yeah, it's the newest Tamar and the last one that they built in the fleet.
So what makes this boat so special, as opposed to maybe the last one that we had?
Well, the last one we had at a top speed of around 14 knots, 12 mile an hour. It had two separate cabins. This one, it does up to 27 knots. So it's a much faster boat. It's got electronics on it that we just didn't have on the other boat. When you're in distress and you're at sea, you can press a button called a DSC button, and that tells us exactly where you are. And this boat can locate you straight away. As soon as you press that button, it gives us the location. It means that we're not spending time trying to figure out where they are or where we're going. We know exactly where we're going, and we can get there much quicker to save lives.
And this has got a really cool autopilot as well, isn't it? Because we've come out this far on autopilot, which is awesome.
Yes. That was something we didn't have on the last boat, and it means that obviously we have to spend a lot of time focusing on what's going on around the boat. But that autopilot does two things, because it's quite difficult. You have to remember that this is around about the size of 2 double-decker buses. It weighs about the same as 4 double-decker buses, and for one human being to be able to steer that at nearly 30 mile an hour, it's quite difficult to do. And the autopilot means that they can do that. It means that we can concentrate on exactly what's on the horizon in front of us, rather than concentrating on having to drive the boat.
If this was in a big storm situation, these things can topple and right themselves as well, can't they?
Yes, we have done it. Not on this boat, but we've taken the tame arm, we've actually pulled it, so lifted it by a crane the opposite way around and actually pulled it upside down, and it will right itself and come up the right way around.
It's a clever piece of kit.
It's a very clever piece of kit, and all paid for and donated by amazing donations from fantastic people of Swansea and South West Wales.
And the new lifeboat house is pretty special as well.
Yeah, I mean, we had to get a new lifeboat station because this boat didn't fit in the old one. And this one is quite unique, that it has this version of boat has what we call a seesaw, a tipping cradle, to be able to get it in, so the boathouse doesn't actually physically have to be as big as it should be. But the boathouse is amazing. It cost just over £10 million. And it's the result of a phenomenal amount of research that all kinds of people did. It's self-powered, it generates its own water, generates its own heating, and that means that it doesn't cost as much to run, so it's kind of a massive investment for the RNLi, but also a massive cost saving as well for the charity.
And the public can see it as well?
Yes, it's open to the public. There's also a shop there as well, so you can come down, you can have a look around, and we've got volunteers that will show you around the boathouse, and they'll actually tell you all about the lifeboat station and about the boats as well.
Have you ever been ill on this boat? We're rocking back and forth, and I'm beginning to feel.
Do I need to get a bucket?
Yeah.
No, I haven't actually. I'm blessed with one of the few people I think that doesn't get seasick. Although that said, yet is the operative word there, because I think at some point everybody does. Yeah. And it tends to be not so much when you're on a core, when you're on a shout, but when the boat stops and you get into a big lolloping sea and everything, the horizon starts moving around. I'm not doing you any favours here, am I?
My head is swimming.
When it gets like that, that's when it tends to be that people tend to get a bit seasick. Although I know people that get seasick on ferries when they haven't left docks yet. So.
Okay. All right, and so we're going to be here for a little bit. Then we're going to tank up the girl, aren't we? We're going to fill it up with petrol or diesel. Diesel it takes. Yeah. The engines are twin Caterpillar. They're 1,000 horsepower diesel engines. They're kind of slightly bigger than the thing that you would see in a normal sort of JCB digger, and they're quite thirsty. So we need to go and fill up. Do you want to have a go at driving? Oh, can I? Seriously?
Absolutely. I think you should. Press button 1, which is the left button. Yeah. That gives us our position. Right.
Whilst the refueling was taking place, it was interesting to watch how the inshore boats functioned and to understand what an important role these small craft play in saving lives.
Just like any boat engine, it's important that their engine works correctly, and you test it before you go into open sea. Because obviously something could go wrong and the engine could fail you. And just like now with the Y boat, the boat that's the daughter lifeboat, it's had some repairs done in the engine. So we want to just test it under safe conditions in the dock here, make sure everything's okay. So we don't know. We use the boat on quite a regular basis to assist us with dealing with casualties. So obviously we want to make sure that the engine works correctly and it can get up to the correct rev, so we've got the speed when we want it. So that's what they're checking out now. And if necessary, the mechanic will have a look at it again to make sure it's working okay.
Once we fill up with fuel, we're going to go back out to sea, and I'm going to go at piloting, it's not called driving apparently, piloting the lifeboat with the steering wheel by here. And everything that we need is on the screen in front of us. Okay. I think this is going to be a bumpy ride. That one there. Oh, that was loud, wasn't it? really low. As the sun sets across the bay, it's comforting to know that these guys are here with this boat to help should he get into trouble. I've thoroughly enjoyed the experience of being on this Tamar lifeboat and sharing the time with such a friendly, welcoming crew. But I'm a landlubber at heart, and the sight of this boathouse and the faces that were there to greet us on our safe return was very comforting, I can tell you.